Now, a vaccination prevention for the COVID virus.
That is correct, according to this report and released data.
The second thing, how I vote for Muhammad. Everybody knows how much I love coffee, right? And I like to use the purest of the water on the planet to make my coffee with. Yeah. Then I was looking real close on this, and I said, France? From the French Alps? Okay, well, I know what to do with this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get rid of it. Okay, nope. I don't care how much it costs. Me, I cannot put up with the insults of my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is what I'm going to be using in my coffee. And by the way, Muhammad wins my vote. What about yours? Share now so others can see how to vote. And that's how to vote. Yes, you're watching this come to you almost live all the way from our studios here in Southern California. And we've got a great, big program for you tonight. We have two of our best of the best guests. We have Dr. Ado, who is in Florida. Assalamu alaikum, doctor. How are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good, thank you.
MashaAllah. We also have with us Dr. Sultan, and let me see if I can make that come up. All right. You know I'm the big technician here. They call me other names, but I won't mention those on the air. Let's see. Let's try to bring in our other guest here. Okay. Dr. Sultan, are you there? Maybe your voice will bring you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm right here.
Yes, sir. You sure are. And we're happy to have you with us here tonight.
Thank you.
The question that we have, I want to start with you, Dr. Sultan. We have a question that arises about why is it that this vaccine that's coming out that they're talking about, they're saying it's going to need one and then a follow-up for that. Is that correct? Is it going to be two?
Yes, that is correct. You need the first shot to prime up the system, and the second shot to further boost it up to make it last for some period of time.
Okay, all right. So the one is initially to stop everything, and then the next one is to keep you protected. Is that
further boost? The first one, it is a complicated process that how the antigen activates the immune system, and after the immune system makes the antibodies, and then it gets primed. That if get exposed to the same antigen again, now it's going to give a more the robust response. So that's what we expect, that with two shots we'll get a robust response to able to bring some sense of closure to this COVID infection, which is infesting the whole world.
Okay, so what we're saying is that we do need to have the two shots, not just one. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, but doctor, what if somebody only gets the one shot? Are they going to be any better off than they were, or?
Yeah, they'll be better off than nothing. Since this is so new that we don't know what partial vaccination will do. But what the studies being done are with two shots, seeing the response. So it's better than nothing. That's the worst you can do, or the best you can do. Get one shot. Well, it's better than nothing. So I'm all for it. Getting one shot if I can get the second one. And again, the issue is that's interesting because USA did not contract out that many vaccines. So Pfizer made contract with the rest of the world. And now the US is saying, no, you got the priority. They're saying, well, how can we prioritize? We already have our contracts signed. So that's an interesting issue that, okay, we're going to get the first shot, but when I'm going to get the second shot, I don't know. So,
okay. Dr. Adil, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What I'd like to continue with this now, Dr. Sultan was referring to a contract, I think, that the United States, under Trump's administration, they refused to accept the terms, and wound up that the UK is getting something that's going to be ongoing. They're going to be able to get the next thing and the next thing, and several other countries too, but we're kind of out of the running on that. Can you clarify all of that?
Sure. I think they didn't order enough doses, so that now that UK said we got other folks who are ahead of you online for the contract, and that will push us further, maybe till, from what I have read so far, maybe in May or June. To get enough for everybody supposed to get vaccinated. But the first shipments, I think they arrived, and then they will be, from what I've read, there will be distribution by either Friday or Monday. At least for the first dose. But I wanted to emphasize that, just let people know about the science, at least.
Yeah, okay, let's do that in a minute. Let's do that in a minute, because we've got another question related to this, because Mayor Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, has succumbed to this same virus, and it was saying that he had shown signs of this, but they didn't recognize that at the White House. And whether or not they did or didn't, that's immaterial. But what is a focus point for me is they mentioned something about steroids to help him get out, and he's supposed to be out of it tomorrow. What about these steroids? What are they talking about, steroids?
Sure. There are three lines that are being introduced in hospitalized patients. One is blood thinners in the therapy, blood thinners to prevent blood clots in the lung, which will interfere with the oxygenation of the lung. That's one. Second line of therapy, the steroids. The steroids is called dexamethasone, which will block or ameliorate the inflammatory response. There's something called inflammatory storm or cytokine storm that with the very aggressive release of those active substances that will cause damage to the lung and interfere with the oxygenation, along with the blood clots. So to lower the risk of needing to go on a ventilator or going on to have lowered oxygen level, and even to reduce mortality or death, those two therapies, the blood thinner as well as the steroids, are proven to be helpful in hospitalized patients. Third is the antiviral. Now they're going to back off on this remdesivir therapy that's antiviral, and other therapies that was kind of temporary hold, if you would, till we get the vaccine.
Well, what we're trying to find out right now is about what it was that Mayor Giuliani got that wouldn't be necessarily available to other people, because I think maybe you could clarify this. Isn't that the same thing that the President Trump got? Something
available
like
for everybody, steroids and blood thinners, and then there are other therapies based on how sick the patient is, and that's determined by their oxygen level, by oxygenation level, and clinically how they're doing, how short of breath they are, some X-ray findings, and some other clinical parameters that will, make people qualify for further aggressive therapies. So he was not wearing any mask, and you've seen it on TV with, attending sessions and hugging people and all that, no mask and no nothing. So this, unfortunately, now with all those guys, they have to be, contact tracing on all of them and see who might have contracted the virus as well. It's a very important, a very serious business to really comply with the mask mandate and to social distancing and all that. This is serious business.
I think what the shift referring to is the monoclonal antibody treatment with President Trump got.
He got remdesivir, he got monoclonal antibodies, and that's what got the company Reintegron to really go ahead and add the emergency use approval. But what I'm saying is that this is just for now, but shortly, hopefully with the vaccine coming, this need for these therapies will be less and less.
Okay, there was another question that came up, and I wanted to deal with this before we got into anything else, is we're talking about the availability of future shipments coming to us, and you were saying that somehow or another we're not in line to get those. Is that anything to do with the Trump administration? Did they not try to get this hookup, or did they refuse it?
What from what's been reported in the media and such that not enough doses have been ordered. Now that everybody's approved, and UK has put some pressure on the FDA because they approved it and they've given already. I think the first patient, more than 100 years, 104 years age lady got it in UK, and others because people
90,
are jumping.
Yeah, 90 years old. I saw that.
Yeah. You saw that? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
mashallah. Yeah. And she's happy, but what we don't know what's going to happen next. I think that's what we need to pay attention to.
Yes, it will be a logistic problem, but I'm sure Dr. Munsif will be very munsif when it comes to the distribution. They already made marked who should get it first. The healthcare workers, first line responders, those are on the front line, as well as the nursing home residents. And then after that, there'll be other, batch of people, chronic diseases, heart failure, immune suppressive therapy, cancer patients, those on steroids. All those have depressed immune system, so they should get it as a third category of folks.
Okay, now another issue that came up with, kind of related to all of this, about the Trump versus Biden kind of a thing, that it came up in, there was a bill that was going to be blocked by the, supposedly about the Republicans were going to stop his bill, but it became so strong that in favor of it that there's no way to block it now. And it included that these the troops, all of our military was going to get a pay increase. And I was really curious that why would the Trump administration refuse to give a pay increase for the people that are on the front lines, literally on the front lines of defending our country against everything. And his whole pitch was to make America great again. How are you going to make America great again and you don't even pay the people that are defending you? Anyway, so I got my 2 cents worth in on that question, right? But what I was really driving at is that there was another subject attached to that same bill about this going forward about the in Pennsylvania. I think it was it Iowa or Pennsylvania? Which one? No, I think it was Pennsylvania. That they were that it looked like that Trump wanted to force them. They went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said no. They refused to get involved in it, and said what it stands. What the state of Pennsylvania said that was a legitimate vote and everything, and so get over it. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, yes, I heard about that, and similar decisions have been taken, and other states were been challenged when it comes to that. I think Georgia is one of them, Michigan is one of them, Pennsylvania, and I think Wisconsin.
What about Arizona? I heard that Arizona also
might be as well. Yeah.
But in today's news, Arizona had huge amount of deaths related to the coronavirus. Did you hear
I think
about
it's
that?
happening everywhere in the nation. And sadly, getting up, like daily 2,000 plus fatalities. But I wanted to, just to kind of get and educating the public, because those who had questions, like Abu Mujahid yesterday and others, about the.
Oh yes, yeah. Let me tell the audience what happened yesterday. Abu Mujahid called in, and by the way, we love him very much. If you're watching, Salam alaikum. And also, but there was an issue that he brought up that I think is one of the issues we want to talk about tonight. Is these issues are they're going viral about these conspiracy theories that have no legitimacy whatsoever. And they just have people insisting, oh, it's proven. But where? Give us the proof. Go ahead.
Okay, so for folks, a lot of people, for the way we grew up knowing about different vaccines, the polio, flu, it used to be like a weak attenuated virus. But this COVID vaccine is a whole new technology called mRNA, messenger RNA, which is derived from the DNA. DNA, everybody knows, that control the genetic code. And what the folks that have been developed over the last 3 decades, that they actually finally have been optimized by Pfizer, BioNTech, with the Turkish couple, that they used this synthesized mRNA to go into the lipid nanoparticle and to go into the immune system when it's injected. Once it's inside the cell, then there's a part of the cells called ribosome, which is responsible for making the protein in the cell, will go on working to pumping the spike protein of the SARS out of the cell. And the immune system will mount a response to that protein and thus confer immunity. So the people become immune, and if they ever exposed to the COVID virus, they will recognize it, and then they will be protected against being infected by it. So it's a whole brand new technology, and it's proven effective at a 95%, and it has a very good and safe profile thus far, and it gives the protection up to 4 months, so far, with very low and acceptable safety profile. So this is how it is going to be kind of revolutionary technology in the way that this particular technology has been introduced into the body, and have the body make its own protein to protect itself against future infection. And this have shown to be a more or less a very smart technology that could be used later on for other disease entities like congestive heart failure and various kinds of cancers, when you specifically target the invading organism without causing so many other side effects in the body. So that's in a nutshell the things that everybody should know, an average person should know about messenger RNA vaccine, which is the one that's used by Pfizer, BioNTech, which seems to be the most have the most favorable safety profile among other choices in the market.
All right, mashallah. Looks like that was a pretty big nutshell, but needed, very much needed, mashallah. I would like to bring us back to a question now concerning this virus and the vaccination. So when it is available for the general public, I mean, like you and me, we could go in and get it. Well, you're a doctor, so you can get it already, right?
I think the doctors that work in the hospital on the front lines versus those who operate in offices or clinics, but at least, those in the hospital on the front line should be getting it first. That's it's a guaranteed, agreed upon in all CDC and NIH, to give them the priority first.
But basically, I'm just trying to get this straight. Any doctor should be, I think, more accessible to this vaccine than the common folk, because they're the ones that are going to administer it. So, and take care of us. So, and by the way, I'm looking for my PhD here for I can pull that out and say, hey, maybe I can. Will that work?
Why not? MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Great sense of humor. MashaAllah.
It's actually.
I wonder if this vaccine will be available in physicians' offices. Will they provide to the physicians? What do you know?
I think they have to cover the hospitals first, because they're the one who really exposed with a high rate of viral shedding, and they're like, for instance, respiratory therapists. Sometimes we forget about them, but they're the ones doing like secretions, respiratory secretion on a ventilator. Oh my God, the rate of exposure, they're the most people that during intubation, all the respiratory team, when you exposed to a lot of body fluid and so on, they really should be the one who get it first. There's no ifs and buts about it. Nursing home, 40% of mortality of people who die from nursing homes should be getting it. And then after that, of course, the rest of the doctors in the office, because they still see sick patients as well. Not as sick to go to the hospital, but, and the chronic disease, patients. Those are kind of in this order will be a fair order for distribution. But Dr. Munsif is the one who will do, he'll be very Munsif, will be very fair, right? Because he's got the right name for the right job.
Yeah, be sure and tell everybody the word in Arabic for being fair is Munsif, or also your name, Ado.
That's correct. Yes. So that, he's, I was very impressed by him. I'm very, very proud when he came on Sunday with Jay Tapper, and talked about all the elements. He was very honest and straightforward. He said, we don't really know long-term data on the efficacy and safety, but we will keep you up to date, as the data, become more available. Let people know what is the longer term, like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, the safety data and so on.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm happy to know that we do have you guys with us to help us get clarification. I would like us to look at some of these conspiracy theories, but because I think it could get out of hand, especially because we already have polarized our country into a group over here and a group over here that has had clashes and even resulting in people doing physical abuse, even death. And I think that we need to clarify some of this that is just nothing more than conspiracy theories that people have latched onto, thrown out there to provoke and maybe even to promote their own agenda or get some donations and things like that. So in general, we want to talk about any conspiracy theories, but particularly any of those that are related to the transition of our presidency. That's a very big, important one right now. And also related to the vaccine. Now, the cause of the virus, we've already heard all kinds of stories about this. But now the vaccine, then they're coming up with stories about this, telling people don't get the vaccine. Have you heard about this, doctor?
Yes, I have. And I think when we go with evidence-based data, here's the vaccine out there. Here what it does. Here is safety data. Here's what we know, and here's the phase 3 trial that's been conducted. I believe for the most vulnerable group of people, as this could be really very beneficial to them, they really have to be educated, tell the truth, be transparent about the facts, and let people make their decision without any forcing anyone. I think when people are honest and transparent and tell the truth, and share the data the way it is without any manipulations, I think that's the way to build trust and confidence in whatever is being offered.
And I don't think that any intention is making it mandatory. I've not heard about anything like that. They will make it mandatory. I don't think so.
There are people said if you don't take the vaccine, you know what? You're not going to go on the plane. You're not going to go to the gym. You're not going to go to, some other, things like that. But I believe, we're looking now to boost people's immune system to prevent them from fatal infection.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. We have another caller on here. Let's take a caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
MashaAllah. Who do we have on the air with us right now?
Sheikh, I'm Faiz. I'm calling from India.
All right. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Would you like to ask the doctors a question?
The question is actually related to the deen, and it's actually.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, Sheikh. Sheikh, how do we Muslims balance our life, Sheikh? Like, we have to pray Salah, we have to read Quran, but at the same time, we have other work as well. I mean, we have to manage time with other duties as well. So give some tips, Sheikh. How can we manage time effectively?
Well, I think that's a very good question. A very good question. Let's take our break, and we'll be right back right after the break, and we'll find out, because it's time for our break. We'll be right back after this, guys. Stay tuned. Stay guided with Guidance TV. We'll find out how Muslims are supposed to balance their lives, especially in these times that we face. Okay? Stay tuned. Stay guided. We'll be right back right after this. I just want to get facts. There is now a vaccination prevention for the COVID virus.
That is correct, according to this report and released data.
The second thing is, it was developed by Muslims.
It was Turkish scientists that moved to Germany. To Germany.
It's in Germany, but it was Muslim scientists.
That's correct.
You're talking about yesterday.
Yes, sir.
The Turkish couple, man and wife, are in Germany. They came up with this vaccination, and they have their own company, but yet they're very humble. You said they celebrated by making tea in their own home. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I love this. How long before we would find a way to get this? I'm okay in my house because we don't go anywhere, but there are other people that really need it because they are interacting with other people, and I really feel like this is a great thing to promote.
It's just been released. There's more details, so stay tuned.
And stay guided with Guide Us TV. How I vote for Muhammad. Everybody knows how much I love coffee, right? And I like to use the purest of the water on the planet to make my coffee with. Yeah. Then I was looking real close on this, and I said, France? From the French Alps? Okay, well, I know what to do with this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get rid of it. Okay, nope. I don't care how much it costs. Me, I cannot put up with the insults of my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is what I'm going to be using in my coffee. And by the way, Muhammad wins my vote. What about yours? Share now so others can see how to vote. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So that's how we vote for Muhammad. And I was talking with Dr. Idol just now while we were watching these promos. And what we're determining is that we need to really sustain what we're doing and make sure that people know that it's not over. This is not over. We still know that there are countries out there that allow open persecution of people just because they're Muslim, and open persecution to the extent that they incarcerate Muslims just because they're Muslims practicing their deen, and turn them into slaves. That's happened. The Uyghur Muslims are the current target of in China, but this has happened before in other places. And if we don't stand together, then we're going to all be scattered out and run over. We'll all be run over. So let's stick together on this. And right now, the best way, we have to comply with Islam, which is saying we can't be vigilantes. But however, we are not forced to participate in things that are against our religion. Islam doesn't ever allow us to do that. So we can boycott and stay away from buying products from countries and companies that endorse or go along with the persecution of people just because of their religion. And by the way, it's not just Muslims. If we see Jews or Christians being persecuted, then we should join along with them to boycott these companies that are persecuting them. Because let's face it, guys, we're all basically on this same idea of one God. All right? So, Dr. Sultan, if you don't mind. Salam alaikum, Dr. Sultan. Are you still with me?
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay. Oh, we got the head. Your head is chopped off now. I don't know if you moved or what happened, but there we go. All right. So if you could just tell us what's your perspective on that before we go back to Dr. Adil.
Well, perspective is perfectly, because, one of the saying that goes, what's the best place to hit a man in his pocket, you see. So when these people are persecuting Muslims, saying bad things about Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is our moral and ethical duty that we do not buy their products and services. And this is we should be doing it nationally. And if 1.5 billion people don't want your product, you will pretty much know that is hitting in your pocket. And this is, see, we as human beings, we have very short memory. So it is important that we continuously get reminded about these things. One time you talk about it, then in the hustle and bustle of the day, this message gets diluted. So this is, as Muslim, we must do this. You see, one of the I love Jews. One thing they represent is unity for their own people, and they would go to every legal extent to let know that their rights are violated. But unfortunately, Muslims, we have fallen short on this thing. It reminds me of if we remember Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's one hadith. He said our ummah is just like in a ship, you see. And if somebody puts a hole in the bottom floor and you're on the 13th floor, well, where's the bottom floor going to get sunk? Well, I'm at the 13th floor, so I'm pretty safe. But sooner or later, it'll get to you. So all over the world where Muslims are persecuted, now we are getting affected even in the United States, right in here, because we have not stood for the Muslim other part of the world. So that's my take on that.
Okay, Dr. Adil.
I agree very much, because this was a very effective policy, the boycott, and it happened. Where, for instance, the Tea Party, that's what going back even to the history of the United States, they didn't want to buy tea and use tea from England because they wanted the independence, and that's where coffee became almost a patriotic drink. And I read more and more about it, and I believe that the message should be very, very clear and should be sustained. If somebody insults our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who we love more than our family, more than our parents, more than anything in life, then because that's what Allah and the Prophet ﷺ said, that there is no one in your life should be more beloved than Allah, God Almighty, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, more than anything else, and we should sacrifice our life, money, whatever it is, to really, really honor our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the simplest practical way to express and really practice that love and show it to the world. Do not insult our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam under the name of freedom, because freedom does not meaning that that you have to go in and really incite hate and make all this really destabilizing the world. That's the best way, and it happens so many times, and it keeps provoking it. And then there should be a legislature coming in the United Nations to allow incriminate anybody, just like anti-Semitism, like with our friends in the Jewish religion. This is also and even though with the only like 12 million around the world, but to Muslims 1.8 billion and close to 2 billion, and we don't have a legislature in the United Nations prohibiting insulting, our sacred symbols, whether it's, the Prophet ﷺ or the Quran or anything else that is sacred, and let people have, mutual, respect and a mutual, understanding for the religion and for do's and don'ts and so on, and stop provoking this this nonsense. And if they don't, they're gonna, get to that very clear message. Where there is almost 12% drop in the French economy just from the 1 month boycott. So if they keep on doing that and they keep on insulting our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and keep that under the name of quote unquote freedom of expression, and that there will be paid dearly, and we don't want anything except peace and harmony, but we cannot and will not anybody who is Muslim, and this is part of our DNA. I was just talking about it in our genes as Muslim, the love of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and defending him in the simplest way. If somebody is going to insult our religion or Quran or our Prophet, well, I don't want to have to do any business with them. That's just pure and simple. No matter what it is, when they have a mutual understanding and so on, then we could go on and have business and have camaraderie and brotherhood in humanity and help each other and so on. So that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the rules of engagement in Islam with, and that what we should follow. And we have no choice because we're following God's commands.
We have a caller on the phone, and I want to come back to him. Let me take another call.
Hello, let's show SH Yusuf. You have.
Okay, salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. MashaAllah. Who is this?
It's your brother Ali Abdullah from New York.
Okay, Ali. What do you have a question for us tonight?
Yeah, no, I'm just chiming in. SubhanAllah, I was just listening to the sheikh talking about how everyone bashes. Sheikh, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. You're on the air. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, it's funny, you know, when people bash when they talk about when they talk about women, they say, oh, you can't be feminist, or when you talk about people of color, you can't be racist. But when it's Islam, it's just like a green light, you know.
Yes, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. But you know what? I think of human beings that they kind of have a tendency to try to get to something that they agree upon, and it's the same time attacking some other group, and that's forbidden in Islam. But Allah knows best how people are made, because He made us, and that's a temptation that He puts in us to overcome, I guess. And I pray for people that have that problem, but I hope, inshallah, that they'll be rightly guided by Allah and stay away from that. Stay away from that. That's a very bad thing to do, is to have what's called asabiya in the Arabic language, or party spirit, something that is going to destroy the people all the way around. It's never good. Asabiya is Tribalism, yeah, it is. It's tribalism. That my tribe is better than your tribe, and that's a really bad thing.
This person died.
Yes, subhanAllah, man. It's wallahi, and may Allah really aid you in all the work that you do, and put it in your scales of good deeds. MashaAllah, Sheikh. Like you know, this would. America definitely needs dawah, you know?
Yes.
Like the Muslims need to be more practical, and instead of being angry when they hear about something, people talking bad about the Prophet. Like, it's a good thing to be angry, but I think they should really learn about the Prophet.
Constructive. I think what you're bringing up is a very important part. I think two things that we could do to be really proactive on this case. Number one, we've been talking about boycotting products, but the other thing we can do is spread the message. Worship God alone. Worship the Creator, not the creation. And that's a bumper sticker I'm holding up there right now for everybody to see it. That's our bumper sticker. And if you'd like one of these bumper stickers, I'll be happy to send it out to you, and I'll pay for the postage, pay for the bumper sticker. If you'll just promise me you'll put it on your car, or somebody's car, or truck, or vehicle, or train, or airplane. I don't care. The FAA won't allow you to put it on an airplane. I promise you that. They don't allow anything to go on airplanes. But, you know, anyway, worship the Creator, not the creation. Thank you, Ali. We really appreciate you. By the way, anytime you want to, brother, just give us a call back while we're live on the air, okay?
Inshallah, Sheikh. Barakallah.
Thank you so much. Barakallah fikum. Okay, and we still have our other brother on the air. No, I guess we lost him. But we had a brother on the air with us from India, and he asked a really good question. And he was asking us how we can get this balance. How do we get the balance in our lives now? We're supposed to pray. We're supposed to fast Mondays, Thursdays, or whatever, you know, the nafla and extra prayers. We can do all of that. We can pay charity. That's a good thing for us to do. And spread the dawah. That relates to the very first part of our coming into the deen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. And how do you bear witness to it is if you're not willing to post it out there. Hello. Yeah, I just threw that up there. But anyway, so I would like us to look at what we can do along with that as a Muslim. And I think both of our doctors are very well educated about this subject and could probably do a lot better than me. So I'll let them do that. Talk about what it is that we as Muslims, taking from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in our normal daily lives, what should we do? Dr. Sultan, we're going to start with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go ahead.
This is what all the message of Islam is to worship his creator and follow the commandments what he has given in Quran, which has been further explained by our beloved Prophet ﷺ, and not only explained, but in practical form, he has given us in the form of his own sunnah, not only talking, but walking his talk. And this is where we have such big.
To accept the call.
Very good.
Okay, well, we have a caller on, Doctor.
Okay.
Let me take that caller, please.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, caller. Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. My
What?
name is Natasha, and I'm calling from Oregon.
Oregon. You're calling from Oregon, and it's Sister Nafasa?
Yes, sir.
MashaAllah. Do you have a question for our doctors tonight?
Actually, I'm sorry. I just saw you live, and I had a question for you. I wasn't aware that they were doctors. I always have questions about Islam.
Well, they're both Muslims, so they'll know the answer too, probably. If I know the answer, anyway. Go ahead. What's the question?
Perfect. Thank you. So, if we have babies at home, I found that after a while it has pictures like a statue. It's already engraved within it. If I put a flower over it and glue it, would still the angels not come to our home? Because I hear.
Okay, all right. Let's clarify for everybody. There is a hadith. There is a hadith very clear telling us that the angels of mercy do not enter the room where there is a picture or image or a dog. So an image or picture, statues in particular, but any kind of a picture, but or a dog. Now this needs some clarification, because the Prophet ﷺ did allow for he had his wife take down, I think it was a picture of a lion or some kind of a big wild cat on something that was hanging on a drape. And he had her take it down, but then he allowed that it could be made into a pillow and thrown out there. They could just lay on it or whatever, so they didn't totally destroy it. But when I first heard about this, I went around my house and threw away everything that even looked like a picture of anything or an image of anything and wiped it all out and got rid of a lot of stuff at one time. But then I realized that I might have made a mistake, because now I have no pictures of my grandfathers, my father, my mom, any of those pictures that we threw away. And I was told later that, well, you could have kept them in a drawer and used them for reference if you wanted to. That's an opinion. But so I want to clarify that this is also the angels of mercy, because there are other angels that make things happen all the time. That whenever we're doing things, like the wind is blowing and the drapery is moving and all these kind of things, this is still by angels, but they're not the angels that we're talking about here. All right. So now,
If we pray, so the angels would come and accept our prayer.
the angels are not the ones going to accept your prayer. Bottom line, okay. This is a misunderstanding. If you do salah, if you're doing salah, you should do it in a place where you don't have the images. But in the prison where there might be images and you can't do anything about it. I worked in the prisons, and I heard from many of the scholars, so we ask this in different countries too, that in the case where you are, it's not up to you, so that prayer could still be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all right? But what is it that you have that you can't remove? What is the thing that I didn't understand what it was that you have in your house?
It's like pages for flowers, and it's engraved. But also, everything about my kids, like the carpet, they want like the bedding, a lot of toys. All of them are toys, images,
Okay,
characters,
all right, but
and
what now that's when you need to really understand what's the sunnah, because when Aisha was small and she was playing with dolls, there was no problem with that. So the dolls, the toys, the cartoons, the stuff for the kids, even cartoons on TV. I have scholars in our family who actually allow that, and especially because the cartoons are about Muslim things anyway, they do allow that. So this is don't take it to the wrong level. You want to keep a balance. I'm glad the brother brought that question up, because that is one of the balances that we have. Yes, there are things that are prohibitive, but don't put it into the class where you can't even move, when you can't even get around, and your children to say, I can't wait till I'm bigger and I'm going to leave Islam, I'm going to leave this nonsense. That's the opposite of understanding of what a balance, to be wasta, to be in the middle path, in the middle, stay in the middle.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Sir, I always love your speech and khutbah and your motivation. Is it okay if, I don't know, if I'm allowed to ask another question, or maybe leave it at another time, if that's okay?
Go ahead and ask a question. You can ask any question you want to, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just say Allahu Alam, and I get a reward for that.
Jazakallah khair. For plate, like I also read something about plate. If it's plated, some of it we buy it. All like in the Middle East, they love the color gold. Most of the plates, spoons, vases, it's not. I don't believe it's real gold. Like here in the United States, they like gold.
Okay, in this case, I wouldn't take the chance, because the Prophet ﷺ said in a clear hadith that whoever is eating off the gold spoons here in the dunya will not eat off of spoons or utensils. Okay, it doesn't have to be spoons, but whoever's using these kind of things of gold here will not be eating off of it in the Jannah. So that could mean that they're a very serious thing. I would recommend to stay away from that. Get rid of it. If you have anything that is gold, and now some scholars, I have seen them with gold watches, and when I asked them, they said it's gold plating or gold leaf, and it's not the same. But other scholars said no. The other scholars said no, that doesn't work. It doesn't. You should stay away from it. So the safe approach is stay away from it. Then you don't have any doubt.
Even gold leaf. Now there's something I also read.
Well, gold leaf is pure gold. Gold leaf is pure gold, and then it's layered on. So yeah, that is pure gold. So I would advise you, just like for people getting too close to riba, stay away from it. The further you stay away from it, the better off you're going to be. There's another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ warning us about getting into the perimeter of the areas of haram, because that is the special place that Allah is, warning us about. Stay away from it. Don't even get close to haram. They're like a shepherd who has his sheep. You don't get your sheep over to somebody else's pasture, especially the king's pasture, and that is the idea of getting too close to haram. If something looks like it's haram, you run away from it. That's the best advice, until you can get a scholar who can give you the ultimate answer and tell you, okay, and then he's the mufti and he gives you a fatwa about that, then it's on him. And by the way, I'm not the mufti, and I'm not giving a fatwa, and I'm also not going to stand up for anybody on the Day of Judgment to say, oh yeah, they could do that. No, I'm not. I want to be sure we clarify all of that, okay?
Inshallah. And even though it's made out of zinc, it looks gold. Like for example, from Turkey.
If it's gold paint, sister, if it's gold paint and it doesn't have gold in it, then you're okay. But whenever you start talking about gold leaf or gold plating, that's gold. And that is the thing that you want to stay away from, because then what you're doing, you're getting over into the wrong pasture with your sheep. And it could be that that would be the very thing that will get you in trouble later. I would stay away from anything. Let me give you an example. You're watching us on TV right now, right? Let me show you something. Okay. This book right here that I have in my hand, I'm holding it up and I show you that there is on this book, looks like gold. Okay. Now this is a scholarly book about hadith, and it is it has this, but that's okay. That kind of, that little tiny bit of fleck on there, they have approved that. And also we're not eating with it. That's another thing. But even then, I'd prefer the silver looking books instead of the gold looking ones, just because I'm scared of that, you know. And again, I put it up there so everybody can see it. There you go.
So even books, I thought it's only plates or something.
Nobody said it was plates. Nobody said it was plates. No. Anything that, now, women can wear gold. Do you know that? Women can wear all the gold that they want, but men cannot wear the gold. So when it comes to using the gold for a decoration, then I would stay away from it. I'm not saying that you can't use it for decoration, because like this is a scholarly book and it has gold right on it, but it is that fleck of gold. If you dig at it with a knife, it's all going to disappear real quick. But as far as solid gold statues and things like that, I would stay far, far away from those. But the plating that's on something, some scholars have approved of it, others say no. And I'll leave that for your own judgment. But yeah, that is something where you can make that call and decide for yourself. Okay? Islam is not trying to make it difficult for you, but it is giving you the opportunity to get extra reward by staying away from some things that might be haram. And they're telling us we got to go off the air. Doctors, I'm going to wrap it up with you guys. And thank you very much for being with us tonight. And by the way, real quick, I'm going to show the laughing cow. Right? Is not laughing anymore.
That's scary.
MashaAllah. That's the French kind of a thing.
Yes.
Anyway, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for calling in with us. MashaAllah. How I vote for Muhammad. Everybody knows how much I love coffee, right? And I like to use the purest of the water on the planet to make my coffee with. Yeah. Then I was looking real close on this and I said, France? From the French Alps? Okay, well, I know what to do with this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get rid of it. Okay, nope. I don't care how much it costs. Me, I can